So Namaloha, everybody. I was called by my intuition to come on for a quick live stream to talk about this 36 that Mars and Neptune are still in. And let me get the chart up just quickly. And I want to talk about the dark night of the soul. Okay, in the zodiac. There we go. Great. Yeah, so put your name and where you're logging in from if you feel called to do that, and I'll acknowledge people in a moment. So Mars and Neptune are there until May 23rd. So that's Monday. So we're still in this energy, and it's in the 36. You can see that with my arrows, the 36 in the, whoops, over here. You can see that with the arrows with Neptune and then Mars. And remember, Neptune is all about, it rules Pisces, the zodiac sign of Pisces. So it's about oneness. It's very spiritual, and it dissolves. Right? So it dissolves the veil. So that's what I want to talk about today with this dark night of the soul. So the dark night of the soul is connected to this 36. And I just feel it's really important to talk about this. This is like a major sign that you're awakening. So remember, we're going through a massive awakening globally right now on the planet. But you're going through your own individual awakening process. So it's going to look different for you, right? But it's perfect for you. And it's been completely all orchestrated by your own soul, your higher self. So you don't want to be judging yourself. Like, why am I going through this? And somebody over there life seems to be like a cakewalk for them. Why am I going through this? Because you're going through it. Right? It's required. It's your requirement, whatever your requirement is to wake up. And some people need, they need a 2x4 to the head, like over and over and over again before they wake up. And it's quite, it's funny to observe from the outside. It's not so funny for the person because it's their ego, right? Won't let go of control. Doesn't want to let go of control. But just the stuff that people get, like, put themselves through before they finally surrender, right? Yeah, so that's the key word here with this Neptune and Mars there. And Mars is action, right? So we're going to see, let me just get my things here. We're going to see things happen on the earth plane. Okay. I just want to get this out of the way here. Okay, so what does it mean, the dark night of the soul? Well, it means you're awakening out of the dream, right? You're waking up out of the dream, and this is the Maya, right? That's kept us fast asleep for thousands of years, and now it's time to awaken. This is a time of self-mastery. It's a time of empowerment that we're in right now. So the dark night of the soul is the alarm clock, right? It's the wake up, wake up, wake up. So this can be, and put in the chat too, like the people that understand the dark night of the soul, maybe they're going through it now. It can be cyclical too, right? It's not just a one-time thing, but that first time that you go through the dark night of the soul, this is where your life seems to be completely falling apart, right? So it could be your family and friends leave you, or your partners leave you, or you get betrayed by people. You may get fired from a job, or you attract an unexplainable illness. Your car breaks down, right? You lose money. You have to move. Suddenly you have to move. Something unexpected happens. And then in terms of the mind can become obsessive, right? Like you just can't turn it off. It's just like it's going. It's like a radio that you can't turn off, or a television you can't turn off. It just goes on its own, right? And the obsession could be about, like, you can't let go of a particular person or betrayal that you experienced, like you replay things over and over and over in your head. Or it could be an addiction, like, to drugs or alcohol or something that used to work. See, the addictions aren't going to work anymore for people, right? The frequency of the planet is rising and the addictions will not work. And this is all about suppressing the emotional body. They're not going to work anymore. You may have noticed that yourself or people in your life. Yeah, they're not able to numb themselves out anymore, right? Or the other sign of the dark night of the soul are your emotions are all over the place, right? You're ecstatic one moment, you're crying for no reason another moment, you're having suicidal thoughts, you feel hopeless or depressed. These are all signs that you're in a dark night of the soul. So this is really a spiritual test, of your faith in the divine. So it's like you're put in a dark room and there's nothing there. Right? There's nothing there at all. All there is your ego. And that's when you're confronted face to face with your ego, is during the dark night of the soul. All that pain comes up, right? All that suffering comes up so that you can see it. And you start to see how you've been living your life. And that can be a real shocker for some people, right? They're like, oh my God, look how I've been living my life for years and years and years in these patterns. And guess what? I'm the one that's responsible for it, right? That you can't blame it. You can't blame other people anymore, right? The lights are on. This is the dark night of the soul. And also the support that you counted on, right? In the past, all those support, the support network, those support pillars that kind of kept you up, they go away too. Like nothing's there except you and you having to make that leap. Right? That leap of faith into the divine. So remember, these are crises, right? So this is why it's connected to the 36 here. It's crisis, right? So the 36 attracts crisis. And what's that crisis? It's like it transforms into Christ energy. And this is the opening of the sacred heart, right? It's the opening of the sacred heart. It's the opening of your heart chakra. And this is what we're doing for the Aquarian age, right? We're moving from those lower 3 chakras, our lower self, right? And we're moving in now into the heart chakra as a humanity. So when in doubt, it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end. I'm cornered. I got no other moves. My ego's got no other moves to get out of this. When in doubt, you go to your heart, right? Because we're evolving through the emotional body. So if you just feel what is going on for you, like how do you feel? I'm feeling angry, right? That this is happening to me. I'm feeling afraid, right? I'm feeling grief. I'm feeling sadness. Whatever it is, whatever is authentic to you in that moment, you just feel it, right? And that's going to give you some relief. And then it's going to clear your mind. Remember, your mind is being activated by that energy. That's why it's like going crazy, because it's the identity is falling away. Your identity is falling away, like literally, right? So that the ego is like trying to cling on to anything. It's like, well, who am I if I'm not this? Who am I then? That's a scary place for the ego. But it's like an ego death. That's what we're going through for with this dark night of the soul energy. So all these events are just signs that you're waking up. Those are just signs that you're waking up. And what does this mean? Right? You're waking up from the dream and the Maya and the illusion. You're coming into your true nature. But it also means your soul's coming more and more into your life. Right? You're becoming spiritual. You're walking your path. You're finally walking your destiny path. So it's like a sleeping giant is waking up. Imagine a giant, right, on the planet, this huge giant, 50-foot giant or whatever. Well, it's going to create chaos, isn't it, around you, stomping around. Well, this is what the soul brings. It looks like chaos on the external, right? Because you're bringing your consciousness more into form, more into the physical form. It's bringing heaven down to earth, if we want to use biblical terms, right? Bringing heaven down to earth. Heaven's not something away from us, right? It's inside of each one of us. So I'll just talk about my story because the personal stories seem to really help people kind of ground this energy. So way back in 2000, so be sure to like reflect on the year 2000 because there's an echo to 2022. So lots was going on for me in the year 2000. So I was applied for this job. So before that, I was kind of hiding, and I just put this meme up, right? I want to start doing these little memes myself to help people, right? So hiding, right, is a fear of the greatness of your fear of the greatness of your soul, right? Now there's grandiosity, which is like, I'm the best. That's the ego, the inflation. I'm superior to everybody else. Greatness is something completely different. It doesn't come from the ego. It comes from the soul. So people don't recognize us. Now, if you're complaining that nobody sees me or nobody listens to me or nobody values me, it's because you're not showing your authentic self. This time that we're in right now, it's like it's ripping that mask off your face. That's not you, right? These old roles, these old identities that we've been playing, right? So we try to blend in and play it small so that no one will expect anything from us, right? So that's the hiding. But back to my story. So that's what I was in. That was the consciousness I was in pre-2000. So I was applying for this job. It's like this job that would completely stretch me, right? And that I had just met I think I talked about this in my last video. I had met the woman that eventually became my wife. We started dating then, right? And she was really encouraging me to apply for this job. And my self-esteem was so low then. I didn't believe in myself or anything like that. And she was gone, right? She was traveling in Costa Rica. So the deadline was the next day and my ego was right there. And it's like, why bother? Like, you're not going to get this job. Like, right? You don't have the qualifications. And then the big list of why I shouldn't apply for this job. So I was starting to listen to my ego. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to, ride on EI. Right, for a while. That's unemployment insurance in Canada, and just, get some kind of just Joe Blow job, right? Where I'm hiding. And I've got a stellium in the 10th house, right? I've got 4 planets, major planets in the 10th house. I am destined to be a leader, right? But here I am, I'm trying to hide. So it's the night before the deadline to apply. And so I'm listening to my ego, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to play video games the rest of the night, right? So I go to the computer to play a video game, and the power completely shuts off. As soon as I sat down in the seat, the power goes off. I checked the fuse box, right? The fuses were fine. Everything was fine. I stepped out because it was an apartment building. Everybody else's power was on. It was only my apartment where the power was off. So then I got the sign, right? That was the sign. And I understood. I had the good sense to understand what was going on. It was like, there's no power here anymore, right? Because my soul was stepped in. It's like, no, you're destined to go over there. So it's like, okay. So I hopped on my bike, and it was like midnight or something, and went to Staples and did my resume and my cover letter and stuff, submitted it at 4 a.m. Right, and ended up getting the job. But that job was so important to me because it really pulled out my leadership abilities, right? I needed to be in the right environment so that could come out of me, right? So the thing is, what I want to say is, when these things are happening to us, right? They seem to like not to fight against it, because that's what the ego wants. The ego wants us to all stay hidden, So not to judge it as good or bad, because that's the mind, right? The higher self is overseeing everything. And I love this. This is from the Osho Zen Tarot deck. It's the awareness card. Oh, it's the connected to strength. That's funny. I just noticed that with the traditional tarot. So this is awareness. So this is you, right? Life's falling apart, and look what's burning through, right? That's you, your pure awareness, right? That's your soul. That's what's observing everything in your life, and that's what's overseeing everything, right? And there's that person burning away, and that's your identity. That's who you think you are, right? So to remember that with the dark night of the soul, this is what's trying to come through, right? Is this pure awareness, and that's the truth of who you are, right? So it's really important not to be blaming, right? Or fighting or clinging right now. It's just to let everything go. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. If it's going away, let it go away so that this new you can be born and birthed during this time, you know? And I was talking to a friend last night at the park, and we were both like amazed at how beautifully orchestrated everything is in your life and how it unfolds. And she's older, right? She's in her almost to 80 now. And you could have never planned it. She said, I could have never planned how my life unfolded. And she's had such an adventurous, colorful life, you know? And so we have to surrender that our higher self, our soul, knows exactly where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to meet certain people, things like that. So, and also I want to talk about people, because we're in this relationship energy, right, in 2022, that we can meet certain people. Like back to 2000, that woman that I started dating that ended up being my wife, my future wife, she was on the spiritual path before me. Like, I mean, I've always been on the spiritual path, but I hadn't really committed to it, right? Committed to it. So she was committed a couple, many years before me, I guess. But so she was a catalyst that awakened something in me, right? So remember, spirituality is not taught, it's caught. You catch spirituality. You don't learn it per se, right? You catch it from someone else. So I caught her fire, right? And we do that for others too. We light people up, right? Just with the flame, that flame of truth that lives within us, right? When we're committed to our spiritual journey. So that can be a catalyst too, to like the dark night of the soul. You'll meet certain people and then suddenly your life starts falling apart, right? Don't blame that person. It's like they just lit up your soul. They brought a big candle and just lit up your little wick, right? And then you start burning, and then life starts falling apart. So you want to celebrate these times, in your life, if you're experiencing that now. So during these times, right, it's best to drop out of the mind, because the mind's not equipped. It doesn't understand the soul, right? It's just a fool's game to try to understand your soul's journey with your mind. You want to go drop into your heart and trust, right? And just trust the divine. And also look at where you're feeling out of control in your life, right? And that's just showing you, like, where do I feel the most out of control? Like my mind gets obsessive and I just can't let this go. This is going to show you where your attachments are. And this is where you need to let go, like really work on letting go, right? And it's the surrender. Right? And this old identity, right, is going so the soul can come in. So have faith. That's what I want to say, is have faith that the divine is with you. It doesn't seem like it, right? And this is like we start to open up to the magical universe, right? This is where you see the repeating numbers and the synchronicities and all that. This is when the soul takes over. These are also signs that you're awakening, right? And then we're not just in a rock. We're not all here sitting on a rock hurling through space. This is a magical place, this earth plane. And that's what we've come to experience. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say, just because Mars is there, right? And things may manifest during this time and, the next couple days and then the weekend too. So I just want to have a little look at the comments. Okay, Vancouver Island, yay. Okay, Heather and her sister in Dallas, Texas. Michelin in Montreal. Sydney, Australia. Fascinated by this topic, yeah. Tammy from Miami. Dudum Chiron from Austin, Texas. And Robert, awesome. 13 World Bridger. Wolfville. That's your Mayan name, right? I'm not Yellow Overtone Star. That's mine. Dudum Chiron from Austin, Texas. New York. Kieran from New York. Oh, Robert. Okay, he is into that. Right. Yeah, it's funny just to think about 2000 because that's when I started exploring the Mayan calendar then in 2000. Red magnetic dragon is today. Yeah, empowerment is messy. Messy, it does. You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? So when we start waking up, there's messes around us. But remember, it's all going to come like it's writing itself, right? That's what we're going through right now. It will write itself. Okay, wooden person. Yeah, you don't need to understand with the mind, like I said before, right? Because the mind wants to understand because you want control. You're just trying to control. So you just let it go and you trust. And reflect back in your life. That's what I was doing the other day. I'm so happy that I didn't get those things that I wanted, that I didn't get that job that I really wanted, or I didn't get that woman that I really, really wanted, right? It would have been a complete nightmare, right? So remember, God knows best. Your higher self, your soul knows best what's for you. You don't need to understand it. And man's rejection, right? It's God's protection. Forget who said that, but that's a good saying. Jen Goodman, 2 weeks not smoking. Yay. That's awesome. Because smoking's all about repressing the emotions, and smokers are trying to repress anger, right? Pot smokers are the most angry people on the planet, right? Take away their pot and you'll see the anger coming up with the pot smokers. Same with the cigarette smokers. Yeah. Just ready to confront, right? Ready to confront what's behind this addiction? What's under this addiction? What's it hiding? Carrie says, from Washington, I believe I've gone through this many times throughout my life. The lower you go, the higher you rise, I found. Yes. Yeah, go to the bottom. Right? Every time you go to the bottom, make a mark, with your knife. Make a mark. And then when you go, because healing is cyclical, when you go down again, you're like, oh, I'm past that mark I was. Here's my new mark, right? The lower you go. That's a good way to go, Carrie. Michelin, yes, bring all the unresolved hurt and parts of yourself in the sacred place of the heart. Yeah, more love and light in our structure and subtle bodies. Yeah, because the new structures are being born now, right? These old structures, we're going to start to really see these institutions going down in the next years to come so that these new structures can be built, right? So the dismantling of the ego is happening. The ego is like a false structure that's being dismantled. The mind is also another false structure that's falling apart, right? So this soul can really come and shine through for the Aquarian age. Yeah, Layla, I think it's Lala. 2000, she was going through craziness with the physical bodies. The doctors couldn't diagnose. This is other signs of the dark night of the soul. The doctors have no rhyme or reason why this is happening. Everything from heat to rashes. So rashes are anger, right? Whenever you have a rash on your body, I've got one right here that I'm dealing with, is anger wants to be expressed through the body. So this can be going through from the unconscious. Yeah. So again, you don't need to understand. Robert, 2000, I moved to Ottawa after going back to school. It's the beginning of an entirely new phase. Yeah, this is what we're in. I was down to my last cent and went through the dark night of the soul for years. It was all worth it now. Yeah, that's right. And once you get the universe has done that to me many, many times, it's like my rent is due. This is way, way back, in 2012. That was the last time that happened. My rent was due. And it was like I had no idea where that money was going to come from, right? And it was like the universe was like squeezing, but I kept seeing 888 everywhere, right? So it was like a sign from the universe, my soul, telling me prosperity is coming. Don't go into fear. Don't go into fear. But it's like God was like wringing every little last ounce of fear out of me about survival and right and too attached to the material world, right? So you may go through stuff like that too. That's also dark night of the soul with money issues. Yes, wooden person. Yeah. Yeah. You know what really helps me, wooden person, is apple cider vinegar, 50-50 with hot water. And then you just put it on, like I have a face cloth, and you just put it on your arms and stuff. That will help draw it out. But go to the emotional, right? Go to the emotional. Okay, so let's do a card while we're here. I'm going to do a live stream on Jupiter in the 25 too, through the sign. So I don't know when that's going to happen. Let's do a ego card for that. I know the itchy. I had itchy palms yesterday, and that's all about something good's really coming to me. Itchy palms. Our bodies. Okay, so what's a card for the people that are listening and that will listen into the future? What the ego is keeping you away from your power. Yeah, so whatever is happening in your life that seems to be stopping you or blocking you, you got to look at it as like a blessing. Like first go to a blessing. So maybe you're trying to get back to that toxic relationship, right? And you're hopping in your car to go visit them, and your car won't start, right? Like no reason why your car shouldn't start. It's showing you. It's like you're not supposed to go there. The new you is going down this road, not this old road. You know where this old road leads. It's like in the Matrix, remember, with Neo? And he had that choice. He's like, let me just get out of here in the car. Remember that scene? And so Trinity looks at him, and right, he's looking down that road, and she goes, you know where that road goes. You don't want to go there again. Like, stay in the car, right? Let's go to the new for the truth. But that's what the mind gets addicted to, because it knows. Better the devil I know, right, than the one that I don't. That's how the mind works. Okay. Okay. Oh, this one's jumping out. Okay. So it's the card of revenge. Right? The ego lives off revenge, wanting to get back at people. This has to do with karma too, you know? This is why we get on the wheel of samsara, life, death, rebirth, over and over and over again. Because of this revenge, wanting to get back at that person that hurt us, you know? So what happens is like that person hurt you 3 lifetimes ago, right? Betrayed you, left you, abandoned you. And then you come in the lifetime after that and you abandon, right? And betray that person. And then it repeats over and over and over and over again. And that's the ego telling you that you need to get revenge. You need the right the wrong, right? And whose job is that? It's not yours. It's not the ego's job to get back at that person. This is what sticks us like karmically to people. You know, aren't you done with the karma? I'm done with the karmic relationships, you know? So it's about stopping, right? And Neptune in the 36, look at the gift. It's compassion, right? We've all been there. We've all been betrayed, and we've also been the betrayer. We've been on both sides. Over and over and over again. So it's time to stop it. You know, I was talking to someone the other night, and, you know, there's like People in their 70s and their 80s, and they're still blaming their parents. Right? My father was an alcoholic. That's why I'm the way I am. Right? Do we want to be on our deathbeds with this still in our consciousness? Like, I want to get back at my father, right? For not doing what I think he should have been doing, you know? Not paying me attention, not loving me, not being a father. No, you want to stop it. I remember saying that once in my own life. It's like, it ends here. It ends with me, you know? I'm not going to repeat this pattern, this karmic pattern. So this is what this is telling us. It's like to not, like, watch who you're angry at, rash people, the people with the rashes out there. Who are you angry at? You know what? And you may not be conscious of it, but who comes up in your head a lot? Like, they did that to me, or they said that to me, or they didn't do this, right? That's who you want to forgive, right? Forgiveness. That's a Piscean thing, is forgiveness. And that's just to go into the heart and just let it go. Let all the grudges go. Because this is where the ego wants us stuck, right? In revenge. So we're back. We're back again, right? Playing this game over and over and over again with revenge. And it's not our job. It's not the ego's job to determine who's guilty and who's not guilty. It's God's job, right? So let the divine handle it, right? Karma, nobody escapes from their karma on this planet. And also to go to that place of understanding, right? Somebody mentioned that on the chat. I don't understand. That's very true. I know that I don't know. I don't understand, but I'm trusting. I'm trusting that I don't need to listen to my ego that wants revenge. Because when you start sending that frequency out, it's coming back to you, right? That person is no good, or they're a cheater and a betrayer, then it's coming back to you, because you're only talking to yourself. Recognize the other person as you, right? You're calling yourself a cheater and a betrayer. That's how it works, right? The energy of it. So let's see what's underneath the revenge. Okay. So what's under the revenge for people? This one's jumping out. Oh, this is great, because it ties in with the chart. So it's it's called initiation. So it's a woman that's walking through a gate, right? Walking into the light. So initiation. So this is what this is keeping you, right? Going into a whole new place. Maybe the first time in many, many lifetimes. You're going farther than you've ever gone before. And this is the time we're being supported, right? In the Aquarian age, and the energy on the planet right now is to be initiated, right? We're being initiated. No longer do we need to get into the, like, I had past life memory of being in the, you know, in Egypt, right? In the covered box, surrounded by snakes, right? That was part of our initiation to transcend fear, right? And it was like, and you had to stay really, really calm and peaceful and trusting, right? And as soon as you went, because animals can sense fear. That was the old way of initiation. This is the new way of initiation. It's to go into the heart, right? And let go of our grudges against people and our hurts and our pains. And let it go, because we can't take this into the Aquarian age. We can't take this through the portal, right? She's walking through the portal. She's being initiated. And remember that this, where it is, this 5125, that's the channel of initiation. Remember that I talked about in my other videos, this one right here, 5125. The red is the ego, the yellow is the higher self. This is the channel of initiation, right? So using that agitation, right? Because 51, it's Aries, so it's angry, right? There's a lot of anger there. Using that as a fuel to jump into this Jupiter, right? This is where Jupiter is in the 25 right now. And that's acceptance. It's the gift of acceptance, right? Awakening. It's a gift of awakening, 51. And then the gift of acceptance. So accepting that this happened to me, right? This happened to me. Don't deny it. Don't go into denial. And it was crappy, right? You may need to lick your wounds if it's the first time that you've really embraced, because some people are in denial about what happened to them in their childhood, right? You may need a little time to lick your wounds with that, but then you got to move on. Eventually you have to move on. You don't want to be stuck there until in your 80s and on your deathbed, right? So it's going into that pure acceptance, which I'll talk about when I do the next live stream, and because Jupiter's there, right? This is huge, this 25 of acceptance. That everything is perfect. Everything in the world is perfect. There's nothing to fix, right? There's nothing to fix. The world doesn't need fixing at all, even though the ego will, like, of course it does. We have poverty and we have this and we have that. No, because it's perfect for everybody. Remember, we're all going through our own individual awakening process. So some people have to play, right? There's all kinds of ways to play karma on this planet. You pay your karma, all kinds of ways. So everybody is in their own individual process of awakening, right? And we can't save anybody. We can't save anybody. So it's best to just focus on you, right? Go back to your own self. Okay, so I'll do the comments here. So that's beautiful, those cards. Forgiveness. So Carrie says, I heard through numerology that 1111, when you see it, it's the perfect time to put out into the universe what you love. Yeah, because it's like a portal. Look at that, right? The 1111, what they look like. Okay, facing the shadow of old heartbreak, yeah. Because that will all come up, right? Especially with Mercury in retrograde. It's all about reviewing the past, too. Your mind will bring up things from the past. And it's really surprising, even to me, that I'll still have, with this lunar eclipse, I still had some residual stuff around my ex-wife. And I was really surprised. Wow, there's still a little bit there. I thought I had cleared all that up. But you don't judge it. You just allow it to come up, Yeah, not to get angry with yourself at how I've been living. So this is when we can beat ourselves up as spiritual people. When we get on the path and we start looking around, like how you've been living your life and taking responsibility for maybe the hurt and pain that you've caused people too, right? That will come up too. That's not a time to beat yourself up, but also like if you have residual guilt, like not conditioned guilt, you should feel guilty but it's actually coming from your soul. It could be showing you that you need to make a little amends. You need to make a little apology to somebody, right? So then you can let that go and then you forgive yourself, right? You're a human and you make mistakes. Recognize that other person is you. That's one of the sutras for the Aquarian age. That's true, right? Whatever you're doing to another person, you're doing to yourself and vice versa. But it's best to not react when somebody's projecting onto you. Don't react unless, respond. That's the way to go, is respond, set a boundary, right? With self-love, self-respect, dignity. But don't react to that person. That's just like, that keeps you on the karmic wheel, Compassion is very powerful and so soothing, yeah. And it's the greatest teaching of Christ. That's what I see as compassion and forgiveness. Okay, Susan, that's interesting. As soon as I prayed yesterday for the divine to take 3 shadow programs, here they all came up today. I'm glad though. Yeah, because you can see it. Right? Because remember that you're this. Where's the... Okay. Right? You're this awareness, right? That's the gift, right? So see this figure, this dark figure, that's the shadow, right? That's you, like Buddha, right? Buddha, just to say, right, pure awareness. I don't want to go into any kind of religious trip here, but that pure awareness sees the shadow, just seeing it, just to see it. In the light of awareness, that starts to burn the shadow away. Except we don't see the after effects with this card, which is it turns into a gift, right? So those shadows turn into gifts for you. Yeah. And that's all it takes, right? It's just to see it. It's that easy, right? To see it and to feel it. Yeah. Thank you, Carrie G. Okay. Yeah, saying you're sorry because the other person is you. Yeah, that's right. That's why I love the whole Ho'oponopono prayer, right? From the Hawaiian prayer. I use it in my programs, right? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Because you're releasing, right? You're releasing that person. I'm sorry that you have to play this role of the shadow for me. I'm sorry that you have to be the one that's like, you know, criticizing me and judging me and making me feel really crappy. But again, they don't make you feel anything but bringing those feelings, those trapped emotions out in you so they can be transmuted. I'm sorry that you have to play this role, right? These people are playing roles for you. And they may not even be conscious, right? Most of them aren't conscious at all. I mean, I myself can feel myself being pulled sometimes into a shadow. And it's like, oh, I feel like this person in front of me is pulling me to become the shadow for them. It's like I have to really resist and stay in my own, it's that powerful, my own center, right? You may feel that. It's like that projection is really, really strong, right? So it can work that way too. It's to stay in your center, stay in your light. And it's like, I'm not playing that shadow for that person. You know, they can find somebody else, or they can own it. Right? Own that shadow themselves. Yeah, and then you release you too, right? With this power of forgiveness. You not only release that other person, but you release you yourself, and you're, right? It just benefits everybody. Recognize the other person as you. Michelin, accepting that a relationship is perfect as it is. Yes, going through that with my sister. Very tempting to want revenge. Too costly in terms of karma. I really want to move on towards the light. Yeah, and that's a good state. That's a good mental attitude, is that person is perfect. Even if they're like, you know, like cussing you up and down and doing horrible things to you, right? That they're perfect. Right? They're messengers. That Michelin, that's all you have to look at people as messengers. They're just a messenger. Your sister is a messenger. She's perfect the way she is. Don't try to fix her and change her, because then you're out of your power and you're on the external trying to control and fix. It's like go within and like, thank you, sister. Right? You're perfect the way you are. I got the message. And then you work with that, with the emotions that are coming up, because you want to go into the emotional content of your experience, not the mental, because the mind wants you out here, focused out here. There's no power there for you, right? So she's perfect. And then you step away, right? And you go and do that work inside. And then what happens is she starts to shift. Recognize the other person is you. When you shift, she shifts, because she's the mirror. She's the mirror, right? That's the way to do it. But don't have outcome. Like, don't say, well, I'm doing this, so she'll shift. You're still focused on the external. You've got to go and just do that for yourself, right? Yeah, and not go into revenge, because that's where that ego wants us, right? Wants us there in that state. And it feels horrible, doesn't it? Right? To be in that like negativity and judgmental and yeah. C.A. Patterson, I think you said depression is anger turned inside. That's right. It's like the rash, but inside the skin, not on it. Yeah, that's right. So if you're dealing with a little bit of depression, which is repressing that anger, that's the rash telling you that anger wants to come out. And really it's, you know, it can be as simple as being honest. Remember the 36 is about being emotionally honest with yourself first. Like getting out your journal and just giving yourself permission. You know, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to write and start off with I'm angry because, right? And then you engage your mind and then your mind may, yeah, I'm not angry. This is stupid. Let's not do this. But you keep writing, I'm angry because I'm angry because I'm angry because, right? And it will start to come out and you'll be surprised, right? The repression is really, really powerful. That's one of the core wounds, the 6 primal wounds, right? Is repression. It's repression, hidden. Keep things hidden from us. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining in last minute. And if you're on my newsletter, I'll be sure to put out an announcement about the Jupiter through the signs. I don't know when that's going to take place. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday, we'll see. I'm really just kind of obeying my intuition these days on this, not trying to get too structured and controlled. But the energy was clearly calling me here today. Okay? So everybody have a great day and really go into this forgiveness work. I think that's the biggest takeaway here, is to just write. And if it's like, I don't feel like I have anybody to forgive, it's to put a prayer out. Like that, the woman yesterday, right? Susan put a prayer out. That was from one of my memes. Show me the 3 shadow patterns, right? The shadow patterns that I need to clear. And then they showed up. So show me who I need to forgive. Who do I need to forgive? Because you want to be walking through this portal, right? We're in a real important time in terms of our energy and our growth and evolution. And remember, there's something beautiful on the other side of all of this, right? We need to trust. Okay? And have fun when life starts falling apart. It's like, wow, there's things happening. The lights are flickering around me. Like I'll walk sometimes and the street lights will go off, right? Will just go off while I walk under them. And it's like, it's the universe kind of communicating to me like you're shifting, right? You're shifting and you're changing, and just to stay grounded, right? Stay grounded and recalibrate. Okay? So everybody have a great day, evening, and I'll see you in the next couple days probably. Okay? Satnam Aloha.